और अब खुशी खुशी के साथ पेशकश इन डायलॉग, जिसे बड़े प्यार से पेश करते हैं हमारे जाने माने जनाब, नाम मिस्टर भरत भार्गव। आज उनका कहना देखिएगा, सुनिएगा और मानिएगा।
Namaskar, I'm Bharat Bhargav. Thanks for joining in Dialogue. I was excited to have recently learned about 3 non-commercial cultural events that are coming to our area and decided to celebrate with you the beauty and richness of the uncommon genres of performing arts these events will offer. हम कायल और शुक्रगुजार हैं उनके जो अपने जुनून में ये सब इंतज़ामात कर रहे हैं। हम आने वाले फ़नकारों के मरीज़ और मुंतज़र भी हैं और आप तक इत्तला पहुँचाने भर के गुनहगार भी। One disclosure, however, I have not discussed with the organizers the contents of my program or the video clips I plan to show you, so any and all of the errors or omissions will be mine. So, one event being organized by Global Performing Arts is a program of Qawwali by the renowned troupe of Farid Ayaz and Abu Muhammad. Qawwali, you may know, is typically rendered by a group of qawwals consisting of a lead singer, 1 or 2 side singers, and a chorus of 4 or 5 men who repeat key phrases and also percussion by clapping. Qawwalis begin gently and build steadily to a very high energy level, inducing hypnotic state, hal or ecstasy among the performers as well as the listeners. The word Qawwali comes from Arabic word call, meaning utterance, and traditionally Qawwalis have been devotional music performed at the Sufi shrines or dargah as a part of zikr, meaning invocation of God. Although now Qawwalis are composed with lyrics that are secular, even hedonistic. You remember ना तो कारवां की तलाश है and हमें तो लूट लिया मिलके हुस्न वालों ने. Generally the qawwals are men, but in Mughal-e-Azam we heard तेरी महफिल में किस्मत आजमा के हम भी देखेंगे. Amir Khusro Dehlvi, one of my all-time favorite heroes in the field of art, is known to be the father of Qawwali, who created it by fusing Persian and Indian music some 700 years ago. The genius Khusro is also given credit for creating ghazal, tarana, sitar, many rags including Yaman and much more. Khusro's father was a Turkic officer and mother a Rajput. Considered a symbol of Hindu-Muslim unity at the time, he wrote in Persian and Hindi. Amir Khusro was also an ardent devotee of the Sufi saint Hazrat Nizamuddin Aulia, as evident in the popular Qawwali he composed, Chhap Tilak Sab Chini Re. You just saw Farid Ayaz and Abu Muhammad troupe performing in Latvia. I do hope they will sing this Qawwali here also. The Qawwali program will be held on Friday, May 16 at 8 p.m. at the Schlesinger Center in Alexandria. For more information, you can call Ms. Manjula Kumar at 703-448-9658 or go to globalperformingarts.org. Another event which is being organized by the Smithsonian Institute is a Dhrupad concert by the famous Gundecha brothers. Padma Shri Umakant and Ramakant Gundecha are disciples of the renowned Dhrupad master Zia Fariduddin Dagar and his brother Zia Mohiuddin Dagar, cousins of the senior Dagar brothers Nasir Mohiuddin and Nasir Aminuddin, and the junior Dagar brothers Nasir Zahiruddin and Nasir Fayyazuddin. मुझे याद है बड़े डागर बंधुओं से महज दुआ सलाम करने के इत्तेफाक हुए थे जयपुर रेडियो स्टेशन पे. I also had the pleasure of attending an outdoor live broadcast of their concert under Shamiana that was set up in front of the lawn of AIR studio. They were the ultimate torchbearers of Dhrupad, and now the Gundechas are carrying the tradition forward. Allow me to offer a few words about the rare ancient music called Dhrupad. As you know, the Indian classical music has two main branches. The one in south is referred to as Carnatic music, and the one prevalent in northern India, Pakistan and Bangladesh are Hindustani music. Dhrupad is the oldest genre of Hindustani music. The name Dhrupad is a combination of Dhruv and Pad. Dhruv connotes being firm or fixed, just like Dhruvtara or the North Star or Polaris is considered to never move. Mythologically, by the way, it ties back to the steadiness of the young devotee of Lord Vishnu, Dhruv, during his meditation. In Dhrupad, the introductory statement or the first verse called Sthai or the refrain remains fixed in Dhrupad. This is common now, but it was first introduced as a precept of Dhrupad some 1,000 years ago. The second word, Pad, means verse. Dhrupad is deep, meditative and spiritual in nature and induces feeling of peace and contemplation in the listener. The singer starts with firmly establishing the tonic or the shadaj, sa or do in Western music, and from there the music upaj or the creative elaboration is unveiled by the singer, covering up to 2.5 octaves. In one of the In Dialogue episodes, I recall mentioning that Marhum Ustad Salamat Ali had told me he was from a lineage that went back to Tansen's time, that is, his ancestors going back 8 generations before him were Dhrupad exponents, as was Tansen. As you know, Salamat Sahab and his brother Nazakat Ali then turned into renowned Khayal singers. Literally, Khayal means imagination. It is a lighter genre of Hindustani classical music in which, unlike Dhrupad, a singer can wander away from the rhythmic beat from time to time and reconnect at the sum or the first beat. Amir Khusro, who created Khayal, also created tabla to produce the nimble fingertips percussion needed as opposed to the full palms used in Pakhavaj under Dhrupad. Let me share what I believe to be an important point regarding Hindustani classical music. You may know that Swargi Pandit Vishnu Narayan Bhatkandeji did a great service to music by having organized the ragas under 10 thoughts based on the swars each rag was made of. I mention this only to contradict myself in the very next breath. The Indian raga is not a composite of certain swars. It is the other way around. The main ragas came first, and the inherent individual notes were discerned in them afterwards. Allow me to elaborate. Dhrupad ragas were natural, inspired, mellifluous and intricate creations of ancient masters, not some combinations of 12 equal temperament semitones that are mathematically derived frequencies per octave. The ragas are not even limited to the 22 shrutis we talk about. The ragas use innumerable combinations of microtones and vazan. I mean staccato, not legato or meat sounds. For example, dhavat or dha in Darbari is different from dha in Malkons. Only human vocal cords or instruments like sarangi or sitar, which allows totally nuanced pulling of strings, not just plucking them, can produce those microtones. Maybe violin can also produce them. I did dabble with violin as a teenager, but based on my recollection, the contact surface between the fingertips and the fingerboard could be a limiting factor in the case of violin. I don't know, maybe some of the viewers do. Because such a precise swar bhed is necessary for singing Dhrupad, it cannot be learned from sheets. Indeed, there are Dhrupad Gurukuls in India where students practice singing with masters directly. Here is Pandit Ramakant Gundecha teaching Dhrupad to students in Melbourne, Australia. The final point. Let me assure you that understanding the swar bhed that I spoke about would not be necessary for us as listeners at the concert to be able to experience the richness, the rasa, the ornamentation, and the meditative quality of Dhrupad. The concert will be held in Washington on Sunday, May 4th at 2 p.m. at the National Museum of American History. There is no admission charge, just come. If more information is needed, please contact Manjula Kumar at 703-448-9658. The third upcoming event will be a scintillating Kathak production by Ms. Asha Vatikuti as a part of the 20th anniversary dance festival by IDEA, the Indian Dance Educators Association. Kathak's roots go back to the 4th century BC, like 2500 years ago, when kathakars told stories from the epics and danced with it. Kathak was later practiced in temples. During the Mughal period, kings offered gifts of gold and jewels to attract performing artists to the courts, and Kathak acquired a secular entertainment form. It has continued to evolve with generations of practitioners. There are 3 major Kathak lineages in India: the Jaipur, Lucknow, and Varanasi gharanas, each with their own nuances of flamboyancy, elaborate and dramatic footwork, and ankle bells in each of the legs of the dancers, the progressive building of the tempo, and the dramatic climatic endings. Who can forget Janak Janak Payal Baje in this regard? Being performed in darbars, mehfils, and dance houses, the well-known Mujra form of Kathak emerged. Mujra incorporated Abhinav and Bhav, or a variety of facial expressions being visible to the royal or elite patrons seated right in the proximity. Mujra, you would recall, was seen in Pakiza, Umrao Jan, and Devdas. Indeed, Mujra is the theme of this upcoming production, which will display the splendor of the royal courts. The dancers will be wearing authentic, lavish costumes and jewelry recreated from the photographs and paintings of the 18th century. The songs accompanying the dances will be based on poems of Mirza Ghalib, Bindadin Maharaj, and here we go again, Amir Khusro. A storyteller will translate the lyrics in English from time to time. This event will be held on Saturday, March 22nd at 7 p.m. at Gunston Theatre 1 in Arlington. More information may be obtained from Asha Vatikuti at 703-641-5840 or ideadancers.org. चलिए भरत भार्गव को इजाज़त दें। पूरी उम्मीद है कि इन महफिलों में आपसे मुलाकात होगी।